Hey guys, I got on the Mexican beers about a week ago and was feeling pretty crappy. I drank way too many of them, had a hangover. This is in Minecraft, by the way, not in real life. And yeah, it sucked. But I've had worse hangovers before, so don't freak out too much about that thing. I'm in South China, so we got to be careful what we say around here, or our commie dictators come and take us away. So, yeah. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about suffering because, it sucked. Feeling like crap sucks. Getting the actual flu really sucks. I don't know. I've had the actual legitimate flu before, and I've been in bed for like 3 days once. I couldn't even get out of bed. I was just sweating, just constantly sweating. For the Mexican beer hangover, I prescribe lots of garlic, lots of chili, lots of cayenne pepper, veggies, a bit of Manuka honey if you can get to it, and some vitamin C and some zinc. You got to be careful with vitamins though. I have seen a few videos of them putting graphene in vitamins now. Go figure. Some of the vitamin companies are owned by questionable people, so just be careful with that. But yeah, suffering. It's not a bad thing. And the world will tell you suffering is a terrible thing. The world will tell you that to stop yourself from suffering for a few days or a week at the most, you should, hide in your house for 3 years and wear a piece of cloth over your face for the rest of your life and just constantly get jabbed in the arm just to avoid a couple of days of suffering. And that's ridiculous. And suffering is not a bad thing. Again, when you get sick, this is what happens with me. I evaluate my life. I look at myself and I go, what sins have I committed lately? Where's the areas in my life that I'm not doing well? And I evaluate how I'm traveling. And it's really good for me because I need to do that from time to time. I need to be scared, be faced with how fragile our mortality is, and that I could be gone tomorrow. And where would I be? I'm going to stand before my creator who put me here for a purpose. What have I done with my time? And sometimes when you've been complacent for a long time and then you get sick or then something really terrible happens and you go, oh, I need to make some changes. It's good. Like long suffering, learning long suffering is good. Coping with pain and surviving things that are hard is good. So Jesus obviously said pretty much everything the world tells you is backwards. Don't believe it. Flip it on its head. The first will be last. All that stuff. It goes for pain too. Pain's not a bad thing. Don't try to avoid pain. Try to bear it without turning bitter and resentful and letting it let the devil have a foothold in your heart from it by holding on to it. So yeah, just a little quick one on suffering, guys. It's not bad. Suffering's good. It's good for us. Without suffering, we'd all be little children. We would never grow up. We'd be little Peter Pans, little retards that don't know up from down and would have no strength of character. We'd have no patience whatsoever, no ability to cope with suffering. Our faith would inevitably disappear because we'd have no tools to deal with what life throws at us. We'd be just little whingy children. And I think a lot of that consciousness, that global consciousness that everybody's got, the worldliness comes from fear of uncomfort and so discomfort, fear of pain and suffering. They're petrified. They don't want to suffer. It's, they can't think of anything worse. They just want to be comfortable for the rest of their lives. And that's a terrible thing to want to be. We need to embrace the challenges put in front of us. And we need to constantly evaluate our lives and how we're doing. And I think if you do everything you can to avoid suffering, you're never going to grow up. And I think that's the reason why a lot of these, the rabid left-wing progressive, that they're like the filth and scum of the earth that are totally destroying our children, and just being subversive and are twisted and dark and just totally given to all their passions. Those people, I think a lot of that stems from them not wanting to be uncomfortable and just wanting to to live comfortably for the rest of their lives without suffering. I think you avoid suffering for long enough, and you turn into one of those twisted creatures that, you know, preys on children, and like tries to destroy their faith and does all those things that, you know, the lefties do. And you end up just, thinking we need the government to control everything to keep us safe from the suffering. And it's just this perpetual loop of destroying our own communities. Don't run from suffering, guys. Embrace it. I know it sucks. I know the world sucks. I know it's fallen. I know people going through hard times right now. We've got some challenges on our plate at the moment. And, you know, this world ultimately is going to burn because it's been destroyed, totally corrupted, and it's just decaying away. Sin's just totally decayed the whole place. But we're going to get a new heaven and a new earth, and we've got that to look forward to. There's rewards for doing the right things, and we need to be thinking eternally, okay? So when you're in that suffering and in those moments where things can't get any worse and you're just totally hopeless, just remember, it's not forever. God's going to be there with you and walk you through it. That's a great time to go to him in prayer, because those hard times, I've noticed with me and Tani, if we have a good few months or whatever, and everything's happy and comfy and healthy and everything's all good, we don't bond as much as we do when people attack us, when people, you know, are treating us unfairly, or we're going through some horrible suffering time. When we go through something like that together, we get stronger as a couple. And it's the same with God. When you go through suffering and you bring God into it, and you're constantly in his ear about it and just like, you know, what do you want from me, God? What are you trying to tell me? What's the message here? Trying to grow from it, trying to use it to grow, and not just sitting there grumpy at him. And, you know, nagging him about hurry up and let this be over with, please, like, help me to learn whatever lesson I need to learn. Nagging God is a very biblical concept. Look up, I want to say Luke 18. I'm not positive on that, but somewhere about a parable where there's this nagging woman nagging this king, and she's like, give me justice, and he's like, go away, you're annoying. But she just keeps coming to him and nagging him, give me justice, and eventually he's like, she's just wearing me out, I'm just going to give her justice, whatever. And he does it. And it's like, how much more does God love his children than this, like, douchebag king that doesn't even care? He's just doing it so that the lady will stop nagging him. Nag your father. He's a good dad. And there might be something that he wants you to learn before it's over. So look for that. Actively search for it and ask him for guidance. That's it, guys. Suffering's not a bad thing. Don't run from it. And make sure you involve the Father in what you're going through. God bless.